So how do we do relationship evangelism
Instead of shouting.
in the workplace where there are dangers of people who want to entrap us? It is simply about using your wisdom. I've been in the workplace when gay militants have tried to entrap me in questions. And they've gone, "You're a Christian. What do you think about homosexuality? Or what do you think about gay marriage?" Obviously, as a Christian, I don't believe in gay marriage.
No, we don't.
But I'm not stupid either. I don't foolishly answer questions in the workplace in an unwise way. So what I say to them is something like this.
Hey, lads.
"That's a great question, Helen.
Carrot.
But unfortunately, we live in the United Kingdom where I don't have freedom of speech. And whilst I would love to answer the question, I'm afraid that I can't, because if I do, I might be punished. Now, I'll ask you, what do you think Helen will infer from the answer? That I'm a bigot, right? But I have not gone along with the liberal lifestyle. I would then say to her something like this. What I advise you to do is go to the Vatican website or the catechism of such and such a church and read it for yourself and come to your own conclusion. That's all I can say right now.
That's a good answer.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, if she puts in a complaint, I can say to her that I never said it was wrong. I never said it was bad. I just said I can't answer the question, and I gave her a reference where she could research the answer for herself.
That's right. That's
Right, ladies and gentlemen.
the question.
The answer is, so don't you think we should just say and not care if you get fired? It really depends on your circumstances. If you're a mother who's on living wage and you're looking after children and they're dependent upon your wage for an income, you've got to act wisely. And so it is not always wise just to charge in there like a bull in a china shop and give the answer if you're going to lose your job. There are some things that you should lose your job for, but this is not one of those questions. There are some things that you should lose your job for. If our employers ever said to us, "You must deny Jesus or be sacked," sack me.
Sack me.
Sack me now.
Straight away.
I'll go out the door dancing and cheering. But you don't have to die as a Christian on every hill. And on something that's pastoral, like questions around homosexuality, we have an affordability to be wise. The only questions that we need to die on a hill for are literally questions of life and death. Like if they compel Christian doctors to carry out abortion or euthanasia. Christians need to be sacked rather than do that. Or if we're told to deny our faith in Jesus, Christians should be sacked before we die on that hill. But, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to die on every hill, and your circumstances might mean that you shouldn't, because your duty of love requires that you work out your faith in love. Because that's what it says in Scripture. Work out your faith in love. And there is an order to love. If you can afford to lose your job because you can afford to make a stand, then do so. But if you can't afford to, then don't. It depends on your circumstances and the application of wisdom or love. Let's someone legal protections, yeah. The British Constitution has adopted the Human Rights Charter in toto. That Human Rights Charter under clause, I think it's 9, grants you protection under religious freedom. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, when this is being tested in the court, we're seeing again and again that the commitment of the liberal progressives who control our courts to this charter is at best flaccid and limp-wristed. It is soy. And the reality is Christians are not well protected under the law. Furthermore, with the passing of the Communications Act, which came into effect this week, and the future proposal of the Islamophobia law that may very well become law, freedom of speech in this country is essentially, to all intents and purposes, dead. All of you need now to accept that reality. Freedom of speech in this country is dead. Deal with it, because we allowed it to happen on our watch. But if we want to give a better world to our children, we must organise in every possible way to win back the freedoms that the Labour tyranny and the progressive tyrants are trying to take away from us. And we must win back our freedoms, like the freedom of speech, ladies and gentlemen.